הם עוד לא בפנים, נכון?
עוד לא, לא.
אז שמעת מה ששלחתי לך?
כן, אני אגיד לך מה קרה, אני לא הצלחתי להקליט את הקודמת, כי מילאן נכנס לפניי.
עכשיו אני רואה שיש הקלטה.
כן, ואז הוא
אוקיי.
כאילו הופיע כהוסט, ורק ההוסט יכול...
אני מבין.
לא יכולתי לסבך אותו, תעביר לי את זה, כי הוא לא
כן,
היה...
כן. הנה מי שנכנס.
היי מילאן. So, Milan, I'm recording this, okay? So I don't have to write everything. Your mother, she went to England between March and September, right?
Yes, I think in April.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when she arrived there, she had where to stay, or?
Most probably. I don't know. But I think rather she was a photographer, thanks to Franta.
Yes.
And she found work there and was earning some money. And I think she got some money from the family.
That was in Swindon, right?
Swindon was later, I think. At the beginning, she was in London, and then she found a nice place to living in Swindon. It's just west from London, about 100 kilometers or so.
It's like a smaller town she went.
Small town, yes. Her head was Mr. Maylott, was the owner of that saloon, and I have a beautiful story. May I tell you this? No historical meaning, but only beautiful, and shows how my mother really was.
Yes.
She made a weekend trip to Plymouth, which was one of the main ports of Royal Navy. And it was such a nice view, and she was a photographer. So she made several photos of the cruises there and so on. And she came back to Sweden, and I showed it to her boss, Mr. Maylott, and he said, "Oh, Zdenka, I think that anyway, you are a foreigner, and I don't think it's a good idea that you are making photographs in the war of this ship." Oh, my mother said, "Okay." But anyway, I have somewhere here. I have one little photo from Plymouth in the war. She was really young.
I know very little about the project this call is a part of. So would you, I'd be really interested to hear why, you know, how has it happened that suddenly these two wonderful people in Israel are interested in our family history, which I'm so grateful for, because sometimes it feels...
I'm here, but I don't see myself.
You have to turn on the camera.
There you are.
Yes.
Slow.
So, Suzanna, I told Milan that I'm recording this, so I don't have to write everything, and I can be more free to listen, okay?
Perfect. Very good idea. I was hoping you would.
I will answer to, what's your name? Teresa. Teresa asked, how do we get this project? How it start? I was in Terezin 10 years ago with a book, There's No Butterfly, and I start to compose 12 songs from the book. There, I was living for 5 days in a hotel in Terezin, and start to compose a few songs from the book. And when I come to Israel, I was arranged it with a lot of instrument and make a show and a lot of things around. And 2 years ago, Rachel find me because of the project and wanted me to produce a big show at Yad Vashem. Okay. So the show at Yad Vashem was based on the songs from the book. And and we took 7 songs from the project, from my project, and one of the 7 songs was Eva's songs. Yes, and Rachel and me try to find something from Eva, because in the book there's no sign of a photo. Just she signed Eva Pikova from Nimburg. That's all. And we ask Rachel and me, how is it became that there's no photo of Eva, no family, no. So we start to like police, okay. Look for us. We will ask a lot of people in Israel that was in the interesting if they know Eva, and I speak with the Helga Weiss Oshkova in Prague, and she was a girl that lived with Eva in the same room in Terezin, and Helga told us how Eva was a kind of child, a quiet girl. And this is the few things that we got to the clip. And after the clip, it was a conversation radio with Dominika Roshkova, the cello player, and Rachel and me in a main radio channel in Israel. And Dominika says that someone was saw Franta go to Israel with a little child. It was you, Suzana.
Yes.
And we was shocked. Wow. So we getting to dig, and here we are.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. That's a wonderful story, and I really appreciate your work on the songs. So, what are the songs that you composed music for? And
What do you mean?
Well, you mentioned that there were 11.
Yes, 12 songs that I choose from the book.
From Butterfly.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so does that book have more poems?
Yes.
From Eva?
No.
Eva, only one.
Oh, it's the only one.
Yes.
So
we try to find a lot of another songs from Eva, because there's a rabbi from her town, Nimburg, that he gave the song to the
museum.
To the museum, yes.
Yeah.
And we try to find if there is any songs that Eva wrote, because I understand from Helga that she was very intelligent girl, Eva.
Yeah.
So
she was writing a lot.
Yes,
I think yes.
And so how come only one survived?
We still don't know.
Oh, okay. That's another detective work you have to do.
Yeah.
Because maybe, there are a few possibilities. Maybe she took them with her when they were deported to Birkenau.
Yeah.
They were lost. And maybe, you know, because they were deported already in December 1943. So I don't know. And we try to discover how this one poem
Survived.
And we have not managed yet because the rabbi that found it is not alive anymore. So we cannot ask. But I'm really curious to know that, like, if your father, when did he first knew about, you know, the publish of the poem? Because I think that he also probably knew it very late, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let me just check to see if there is anything written on the copy of the book that I have. Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
I have another question for you, Eva. That song with that so many children, girls, boy, is really so nice. Why they are so separated? Is it because of that COVID crazy
Yes.
atmosphere? Yeah. So
Yes.
you did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every kid took a selfie in
Yeah.
his room, in his town, in his country,
Yes,
and
I
send
saw,
us.
yeah.
You know.
But anyway, this is so emotional and nice, and even I think it is even nicer than if they are together as a normal choir. It's because it's so individual. Suddenly you see each of them very, very
Right.
nice.
Okay, so this is the cover. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it has 2 copyright dates. It was first published in 1978.
78.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's very late. But then, and it was published by arrangement with Hawthorne Books Incorporated. Not
Okay, so,
familiar
but
with
this
that.
is like the book that your father showed you in Germany?
No, it's in English.
No, but this is the book that was your father's book.
Yes.
So
so it's in English.
Yes, but this is the copy that he showed you when you were visiting him in Germany.
Yes, at one point.
Okay.
But it has another copyright. It says text copyright, that is the text that accompanies the illustrations, 1978, 1969.
Yes.
So, but it doesn't, and then again, all photographs of illustrations with copyright 1969 by Hawthorne Books Incorporated.
Yes.
So that's all we know.
Yeah,
And
so this is like the book that the friends from Florida gave him.
Well, they lived in New York.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
this is like the first time that you saw.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Suzanna, when you hear the song first time,
I haven't heard it.
the song, the clip, you don't hear the clip?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I sent you that address. You could.
Okay, so I look into your emails then. I check your emails, Milan. Yes, I will definitely do that.
Sometime in in spring. I sent it to you. That
Yes.
of
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, because we've been corresponding on this
Yeah.
for a while. And I had the photo album and the documents on my table for a long time before I actually did anything about it. My apologies.
Rachel, is it possible to do it now?
Yeah, sure. I will show you now.
Let me
Thank
get a
you.
tissue again.
Teď jsem se ztratil.
Že nám pustíte ten...
Jo.
ילדה בת 12,
on YouTube.
נערה צעירה, עם שיער שחור
Se nám
מקסים,
ztratil.
יושבת על המיטה שלה, בהבעת פנים מאוהרת, רואה בחלון.
Can you see it?
נוף,
Yeah,
Yeah.
חמוד קטנה,
Yeah. but I can't hear it.
Yeah, the sound is not great.
על מה שהיא רואה, על מה שהיא מרגישה. השנים עוברות, השיר שהוסתר נמצא. וזה השיר שלה, השיר של אווה.
לגטו בא הפחד החדש והיום המגפה אשר פשטה בינינו המוות צר וחרמשו יום גדולים וגם קטנים ואין מפלט ממנו אני עוד חיה דופק לי ביד הנחה חברתי כבר בעולם אחר אולי גם טוב יותר לאן אתה עכשיו מה טוב מה רע יותר אני עוד חיה דופק לי ביד הנחה חברתי כבר בעולם אחר אולי גם טוב יותר למות לאן אתה עכשיו מה טוב מה רע יותר לבבות עולם בחרדה האם קשה פניה בידיה יקיף שנורה חומק יתת ילדה גוזר למוות חישת ילדיה אני עוד חיה דופק לי ביד הנחה חברתי כבר בעולם אחר אולי גם טוב יותר למות מאין עדה עכשיו מה טוב מה רע יותר אני עוד חיה דופק לי ביד הנחה חברתי כבר בעולם אחר אולי גם טוב יותר למות מאין עדה עכשיו מה טוב מה רע יותר אנחנו עוד רוצים לחיות אל תדלה כל כך את שורתנו אנחנו עוד צריכים עולם אחר לבנות יפה וטוב יותר ובעוד מלפתנו אני עוד חיה, דופק לי ביד הנחה ותקוות בעולם אחר אולי גם טוב יותר למות מעל שם אדום מלא. יותר אני החיה, הפסקתי בידיים עכשיו בתקווה בעולם אחר. אולי גם טוב יותר לנו, מעל שם אדום מלא. יותר.
השנה הייתה 1943. אווה פיקובה כתבה את השיר בחדר שלה, חדר מספר 24, בבית הילדות, בגטו טרזי. השיר שלה מוקדש לה.
אני החיה, הפסקתי בידיים עכשיו בתקווה בעולם אחר. אולי גם טוב יותר לנו, מעל שם אדום מלא. Nichts anderes wird צבועי לפסימות שנקר. אנחנו עוד צריכים עולם אחר לבנות.
Very beautiful. Thank you. Very moving.
Your sister was very intelligent.
It is unbelievable that this is written by 12 years old girl.
So, yes.
The story of our changing planet, under the earth, and what we can do to help it thrive.
So, Dana,
Yes.
what, I don't know, what can you, how is it for you to, to know that you had these two sisters, you never got the chance to know them?
Well, I've always felt that it was a loss, very deep loss, not just for my father, of course, but also for me. I tend to speak about them sometime when my story or the opportunity comes for me to tell the story of my family. And as I said, maybe I said that before, but when I was a teenager, I was very proud that my father was a concentration camp survivor. And it's not a part of my story that I have ever hidden away. On the contrary, I have made it part of my identity, my biography and my identity. Clearly, all this migration that I experienced as a child and as a teenager and as a young adult has shaped me as a person, an academic. And it's interesting how, in a sense, how grateful I am for having had that history, because I think it allows me to be more understanding, certainly tolerant, certainly aware of history, of how vulnerable we are as human beings. And even now with this COVID situation, I feel that those of us who are still okay are very lucky, and we should count our blessings for that. I'm not a religious person. I'm quite an atheist, in fact, but I do believe in humans, and I think we have lots of work to do on many issues that we're facing today. So yeah, this story is very much my story.
I must say that I hear you, and if I could, I will hug you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, Yes,
I hope we
indeed.
have a chance sometime. You know, it's very strange. My father, or my husband, Lieutenant, who's a Chilean exile, often asks me whether I want to go to Israel, and I say no.
Why? Come to Israel.
Yes, well,
Together. You should go together.
Yes, yes.
you know, I would just have a very hard time considering the conflict and the tensions between Israel and Palestine. And I know it's basically an official position because people are quite different, but I would still not want to encounter walls and soldiers with guns and areas where you cannot cross. That would be just heartbreaking.
So let's meet at Prague.
That's why I don't go to the United States either.
Okay.
Not just now, but in principle.
I must say that the clip was published at Holocaust Day in Israel.
Yes.
And now main channel TV in Israel wants to get to make a sort of kind of a report, docu report about the story.
What?
Docu report. Kind of docu.
Can you explain?
Like a documentary story.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
About the Eva and the front of the story, you know, Prague, Terezin, Auschwitz, Ramle in Israel, Bogota, back to Berlin.
Yes.
So is it okay with you, Milan and Suzana, that the report will make something with two of you?
Yeah.
By the Zoom?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, we could do that. You know, provide us perhaps with a tentative script so that we know what to talk about.
Okay.
The same feeling. I would take part in it if you ask me questions.
Yes, that's, I think, what we both need.
You know, then I'm very, very happy to answer.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid of the moment when some documentaries say, now tell us the story. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we want to read the question first.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
No.
No, or it should be better, but even if not, but anyway, you know, that's who is making this document. I'm sorry to say, it must be a little bit prepared and have the questions prepared.
Okay.
Well, I have experience with editing documentaries that involve
Yes.
testimonies because we just finished last year a 2-hour documentary on Chilean exile families here in Canada and back in Chile. And we had originally, there was originally 30 hours of footage.
Wow.
Wow.
Assembly was 7 hours. And my husband managed to bring it down to 2 hours. So having questions that you would send us would really help a lot because it's going to save you lots of time.
Yeah, okay.
Whoever edited for Israeli television.
Yes.
You know, those are huge enterprises.
Suzana, I also wanted to ask you, do you have any testimony, written testimony of your father or maybe your mother? Because I don't know if you know this, but your mother, she is considered for us in Israel and in Yad Vashem, a righteous among the nation.
I don't have any written documents at all. that would have been the first thing I would have scanned for you. So the only documents that I have are all those legal documents that I have sent you.
Yes, because
So I to my knowledge, there is nothing, absolutely nothing. My father always talked about wanting to write some kind of memoir. He got very interested in psychology, and I guess the psychology of survival. But that never materialized. So,
yeah.
I mean, that would have been very, very interesting. I mean, there's lots of projects that have been undertaken here in Canada. I have a whole collection of books, testimonies of individuals, 5 of them, I think, that were published by the Toronto Jewish Cultural Center, and probably there are much more. The university I used to teach is also doing a project that includes survivors of concentration camps. And I contacted them and said I was a daughter of a camp survivor, and whether they were doing a project that relates to the children, and at this point grown-up children, because we do have some stories to tell after all, especially about the impact of the Holocaust on the children of survivors. And to me, it's a very important part of a story that needs to be told, because that's what made the film that my husband did, Exile, The Burden of Memory, so important, because for the first time, it included testimonies of people who were children in 1973, and then those that were born after, in exile already, and how the status of exiles of their parents shaped their own lives and their own experiences, their own points of view, their own culture. So, I think that's very important.
Yes, and have you wrote anything about this experience from your point of view?
No, I haven't actually. That's an interesting question. I mean, it was hard enough to write that account that I sent you. That was very hard. It took me a good few days and many edits and corrections. So yeah, that's interesting. That would be very interesting to undertake something like that. So I will keep it in mind, and I promise to produce something for you.
Okay. Excellent.
Is it okay to ask you, Milan and Suzanna, if you will come to the ceremony in Nürnberg when it came in around September 21?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For me, it is really not far.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's a little bit far, but it'd be an opportunity to be with Milan and Tereska and their family.
Oh, great. Okay.
Get to see their new house. I haven't been in Prague since Denka's died, since that funeral, where I got to meet the whole Commonwealth family, and with my daughter, and certainly would like to see Nürnberg again. I've been there once only, and to meet all of you, of course.
Okay.
Because I really, really appreciate the work you're doing, and I feel very honored to be included.
I have a question about writings, Franta's writings. My mother left a big box of many her special documents. They are the photos I sent you from there. And maybe, because she was collecting all the letters she got from even from the war, there are letters from my father she got to England. Maybe there are letters from Frontal there. Should I try to find it? And maybe most of them will be very family, how Zuzanka is growing and things like that. But should I do it? Should I try to find something interesting there? And are you interested in everything or only what I consider to be interesting? That's a question. Or I try to have a look in it, then I let you know how it is, whether they are really only family things or something.
And Milan, you think maybe there are also letters from the wartime?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Maybe, because my mother was great collector of all correspondence.
Mhm.
So maybe, but I would be really surprised.
Okay. It's amazing that you call Suzana Suzanka.
It is in Czech that mainly you change the names. It's like in Yiddish that you say
Okay.
le at the end of everything. So this is Teresa, and I call her Tereska. I have another
Tereska.
daughter, Hanna, and of course she's Hanka or Hanichka, you know, so all the names are permanently changed.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I mean, they used to call me, how did you used to call me, Milan?
Zuzanka.
Zuzanka. Yeah.
Zuzanka.
But my parents used to call me Susie.
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 It's also possible. Everything is allowed.
When I got to Canada, I adopted my full name with the Z and the Mirham because I didn't want to be called Sue, which I think is a horrible name. So I have all my published work and everything is under my Jewish name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suzana, Franto was a happy man by default. He was, you know, you understand me?
My father was a very quiet man, very low key, very low energy. It was hard to get a feeling that he was happy or sad because he was very neutral in his expressions of emotion. And I have inherited a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And he certainly didn't have he didn't talk about family. He didn't have this attachment that I think humans normally have for their family, a sense of devotion, loyalty, talking about their family all the time. I knew he was proud of me and he liked me and we got along together and we used to listen to opera records on Sunday afternoons. And when I was older, share a glass of cognac. It was his favorite drink. But other than that, no. And I've noticed that for me, it's very difficult to maintain this deep feeling, the emotional attachment to family. Right, Milan? I'm a lazy writer.
We are out of time again, so I will send another link, okay? So we continue. It's okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you still have questions.
Yes, we have. Just a second, okay? Because it's...
Okay.
Definitely.
Oh my. Can't we get more than 40 minutes?
No, it's limited, only, you know. So,
But that's okay.
okay,
Just asking.
okay.
Just asking.
See you in a bit.